Something big is happening in Canada today, something that's got people in Ottawa nervous and folks across the country asking the same question. Could Alberta really cut off the oil supply to the east? Now, before anyone jumps to conclusions, no one's saying it's a done deal. But the warning signs are there. And if you've been paying attention, you'll know this isn't just about politics. This is about power, money, and who really controls the future of Canada's energy. Because let's be honest, for decades, Alberta's oil has kept the lights on in this country. It's fueled the cars, heated the homes, powered the industries that make everything run. Yet, somehow, Ottawa keeps acting like Alberta is the problem, like the very engine that drives Canada should just fall in line. But what happens when the engine decides it's had enough? In recent days, there's been chatter, loud chatter, about Alberta finally drawing a line. Some say Premier Danielle Smith's latest comments were just a warning shot. Others say it was something more. Whatever it was, it's got everyone in Ottawa rattled. Because imagine this. Alberta controls the pipelines, the refineries, the flow of crude that travels eastward. If that tap were ever even slowed down, Eastern Canada would feel it within days at the gas pumps, in manufacturing, in the cost of living. And it wouldn't just be about energy. It'd be about control. Now, of course, no one's saying Alberta is actually going to do it. But the way things are going, it's clear the tension is rising. Danielle Smith has been saying for months that Ottawa's policies, the carbon caps, the new emissions targets, the energy transition plans, are choking Alberta's economy. And this week, she took that frustration public in a way that's got the entire country on edge. She didn't mince words. She talked about protecting Alberta's interests, about standing up to federal overreach, and most importantly, about using every tool available. Every tool. Now, when a premier says that and Ottawa starts scrambling for statements and damage control, you can tell something's up. Prime Minister Mark Carney's office quickly released a statement about national unity and cooperative dialogue. But behind closed doors, insiders say there's concern, real concern, that Alberta might be preparing to test just how much leverage it truly has. And let's not forget, Alberta's been building that leverage for years. A provincial pension plan proposal, its own police force idea, and even talk of more control over tax collection. Each of those moves chips away at Ottawa's power, piece by piece. So when Smith starts hinting about energy exports, it's not random. It's part of a pattern, a message that says, we don't need you as much as you think we do. The question is, would Alberta actually go that far? It's a dangerous game, but one that Alberta might feel it has no choice but to play. Because right now, Ottawa's energy policies are hitting the West the hardest. Carbon pricing, oil sands regulations, emission caps, all of it designed, as Alberta sees it, to squeeze the industry that pays the bills. And people in Alberta are furious. You can feel it. Every town hall, every local radio show, the same frustration. Why should we keep sending our energy east when Ottawa keeps punishing us for producing it? Now, that doesn't mean there's an official plan to shut off the pipelines. But that warning, that quiet, sharp warning, is what's got everyone's attention. Because Alberta knows exactly how much influence it holds, and for the first time in a long time, it's not afraid to remind the rest of Canada. You can almost sense the unease spreading through Ottawa. Behind the scenes, officials are scrambling to reassure markets, provinces, and international partners that everything's fine. But when the Premier of Alberta speaks that boldly, you can't just brush it off as political theater. And here's where it gets even more interesting. This isn't just about energy. This is about identity. The West feels unheard, unappreciated, and overregulated. Ottawa talks about a green future, but Alberta's saying, you can't just turn off oil overnight and expect us to survive. There's a growing sense that if Ottawa doesn't start listening soon, this could become something much bigger than an energy dispute. Some are calling it the biggest standoff between a province and the federal government since the days of the National Energy Program in the 1980s, and we all remember how that ended. History doesn't repeat, but it sure does rhyme. The tension between Alberta and Ottawa has been simmering for years, and every new federal policy adds another layer of resentment. When Danielle Smith talks, she's not just speaking for politicians, She's echoing the voice of a province that feels cornered. And Carney knows it. He's been trying to walk a fine line, promoting green investments, electric vehicle infrastructure, and carbon neutrality, while also saying he respects Alberta's role. But to many in the West, those words sound hollow when the policies keep tightening around the oil patch. So now, here we are. Alberta's hinting at its biggest card, energy supply, and Ottawa's trying to pretend it's not worried. But make no mistake, if Alberta were ever to seriously restrict oil flow to the east, it wouldn't just shake Canada's economy, it could shake Confederation itself. Because this isn't just about barrels of oil. It's about whether Alberta feels it still belongs in the same country that keeps trying to change it. Now, maybe this is all just posturing. Maybe Alberta is simply sending a message, a loud one, to remind Ottawa who keeps the country running. But even if that's all it is, the fact that we're even talking about the possibilities shows how deep the divide has become. And it's not just politicians paying attention. Business leaders, investors, even global energy markets are watching closely. Because if Alberta and Ottawa can't find common ground soon, confidence in Canada's energy future could start to crumble. Think about that. One province, one standoff, could ripple across an entire nation's economy. So where does this go from here? Well, Carney's expected to hold more private meetings with provincial leaders in the coming days, hoping to cool things down. But sources say Alberta's not backing off. In fact, the tone from Edmonton is getting sharper. Some ministers are even hinting that if Ottawa keeps targeting Alberta, the province will have to start making tough decisions. Tough decisions. Those are two words you don't want to hear when you're talking about oil exports. And let's be real, even if Alberta doesn't pull the plug, the threat alone changes everything. It sends a message to Ottawa, we're done being ignored. And to Eastern Canada, it's a reminder of just how dependent they are on Alberta's resources, something that many don't think about until the flow is at risk. The truth is, both sides are playing with fire. Alberta's pushing its leverage, and Ottawa's testing how far it can go before things snap. Somewhere in between, Canadians are caught in the middle, watching, waiting, and wondering what happens next. Because if Alberta ever really does decide to act, it wouldn't just be a provincial issue, it'd be a national crisis. And the worst part? You can almost feel that moment getting close. No one's confirming anything, of course. Officials are saying everything's under control, that talks are ongoing, that unity matters. But the tone, that careful, nervous tone, tells you everything you need to know. So maybe, just maybe, Ottawa should start listening, before that warning from Alberta turns into something much more serious. Because once that flow stops, even for a moment, it won't just be oil that's cut off. It'll be the last threads holding this country together. And if that ever happens, we might look back on this week, this quiet but powerful warning, as the moment Canada truly started to split apart.